Hi all, this is Dana here. In this quick video, I'm just going to show you how to use the MacStitch program to design some patterns. As you can see in this screenshot, this is a little pattern that I designed for my niece. I'm going to be teaching her how to cross-stitch for the first time over Christmas, so I designed her a little pattern. So what I'm going to do is just show you how I quickly design this little pattern. You can also do this, I'm using this using the MacStitch or WinStitch program, depending on whether you have a Mac or a PC. You can also actually do this on graph paper, especially for such a simple pattern. It's really easy to do, and it's actually a really neat way to get kids involved in learning how to stitch and designing their own patterns. You can also do this for obviously for yourself or somebody else for quite simple patterns. For more complex patterns, it's a little trickier to do it by hand using graph paper, but it is totally possible. So what I'm going to do is show you how to do this using the software, and pretty much any decent cross-stitch software will have these similar functions. And I'm going to be showing you how to do that, and then you'll get some good ideas about how to do this for little kids. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a new pattern. So I just went up to the File menu, selected New. You can see here this is the size of my previous pattern. I just chose 60 by 60, so it's not too big. This is actually the 2016 version, so it does have a few different features from the 2015 or 2014 versions, but in general, like how you would design a pattern if you're doing it by hand is quite similar across the different versions. So I'm going to select yes, start a new one. As you can see, this is the palette that it automatically opens up with. You can change those settings. I'm just going to leave it for now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the name. So my niece's name is Jordan. So I'm going to go up in here into the text option. And you can see here there's a whole bunch of different typefaces. I'm going to try something different. I'll try the small caps one. And also here you can see that there is the font size. You can change that accordingly, and you'll get a preview image here, so you'll get an idea of roughly how big it's actually going to look on the piece. So there you go. There's a decent idea of how big it's going to be, so you can change the size if you're wanting it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, things like that. Make it a little bigger. You change the fonts. This is kind of neat because you can actually change the font once it's made a preview. So I might just choose that one. It looks quite simple. Alright, so you click OK. And what it's going to do, it's actually going to, for some reason it rotated. Oh, I think I changed the rotation on it when I imported it. That's fine, I can change that in a minute. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to place it here. So how you place it is like you move across. I'm using a trackpad, but you can do the same with your mouse. You basically just drag it across, and then when you want to place it, you click once, and that will drop it in place. And as you can see, I have a duplicate, so if you want to obviously only make the one version of it, you go up into any of these tools up here, and you just click on one. So in this case, I'm clicking on the full cross stitch, and that will actually drop the duplicated image. So what I might do is actually rotate this. So I'm just going to drag this around it. Let's see if this will work. I'm going to flip this area, rotate this area 90 degrees. So this is going to come out a little bit funky. It's not going to be straight. But what I'm going to do is just show you this function. So basically, I use the toolbox selection up the top, the little square box with a dashed line. You drag that around the image, and then you'll get a separate little menu that pops up down here, and then you got a whole bunch of options. So I'm just going to rotate this area 90 degrees just so you can see what it's going to look like. You can also flip it left and right, all kinds of stuff. So I'm just going to do it just so you can see what it's going to come out like. So there you go. So if I wanted to drop that, then I could just click again and it's going to drop that image, but I don't want to. So I'm just going to select any of these options here, and that will drop that basically shadow image. So that's how you would do your text. Obviously when you do your text, like what I did is I was changing the angle here, so that's why it came out a little bit bizarre, or sorry, not bizarre, but on an angle. So if you're wanting to do that, this is how you adjust it here. Alright, so I'm going to cancel that. So what I'm going to do is just show you how to do some basic drawing. So I'm going to select this color here. So if you have, I have actually, as well as my Mac, I have a new Surface Pro, and it's got the stylus, the Surface Pen, so it actually makes it really easy to draw. So if I'm using my Surface Pro using the WinStitch, the PC version of MacStitch, I can actually just draw using the stylus, which is really handy because I'm using the trackpad on my Mac. Basically just hold down your trackpad or your mouse and basically just draw as you would normally. I'm just going to do a really general little heart shape here. So I'm basically just holding this down and dragging. As you can see, my shape's a little off. What you can do is adjust that there. You can erase if you decide you don't want something there. I'm just going to say erase that just for the sake of it. Another neat function, if you want the whole image to be colored in the same thing and you don't want to drag it back and forth, there's the fill function here. So this little, it's like a water pitcher. So you'd click your same color. You click, it has the, this, when you're filling something, it has to be enclosed, otherwise it's going to fill the entire background. So you're going to click, it's going to fill, and then you can also make sure, so there you go, the basic little heart shape. Not incredible, but you get the idea. So that's the heart. Another way you can do images is this program also comes with motifs. I've saved one motif in another video. I'll show you how I did this. It's really, really simple actually. So I'm just going to go through, find the one I saved. So I made this little star here. So if you've got a motif or a special stitch down here in this bottom menu, so you just click once, and then same. You just drag your mouse or your trackpad, and this is basically hovering. You don't have to do anything. It's going to automatically pick up that stitch once you select it. And then if you want to drop it anywhere, you just drop by clicking once and it will drop it. And yeah, and then you would make sure you're selecting that again up here just to make sure that it has fully dropped the image. Otherwise, sometimes it will keep duplicating the image until you select one of the tools at the top to basically deselect your shadow image. And so that's basically it. I do have other videos about how to do the export function, so to actually turn this into a printed pattern. You would go into the import export. You can't really see it I know in this screen recording. You'd go into the import export toolbar. You'd open it up. There's a whole section on export, and then there's about 5 or 6 different tabs of options, so you can choose things like whether you're wanting a cover image, whether you're wanting a preview image, how you want your palette to look, like how your symbols to look when you're printing your chart, things like that. There's a lot of really neat different options, whether you want a copyright on your things, whether you want page numbers listed, whether you want the title to be on each page, whether you want the key to be on each page. There's lots and lots of different options. It's a really, really neat way to export your pattern, and I use it a lot actually. I actually use it for the patterns that I'm selling online. They were all designed using this program, some of my artwork, and then imported and then adjusted and then printed using the export function. So that's it for now. It's just a quick short little video just showing how you can do this kind of pattern designing either for yourself or particularly for little kids. I think it's a great craft for kids. I would say if you're teaching small children, make sure that they're supervised because they are using needles, obviously. They can do this either on the Aida fabric or they can do it on plastic canvas with yarn. There's sort of really no limitations. They could do it on perforated paper. Yeah, you can kind of do anything with them, but I think it's a really great craft. Like, even if they're not eventually going to get into cross-stitch more in depth, it's a really neat way of getting them to think about how to design things and how to create things that they like, and that skill can transfer to any craft, to pretty much anything. It teaches them how to be creative and use their own creativity, and your own as well, obviously, if you're designing this for yourself. And yeah, I think that those creative skills of being able to design something from scratch out of your own head, I think those are really, really, really useful skills, and I know they've been very useful for me in my life, being able to adapt things and customize things in my life. And yeah, just in general, it's a really great craft and a great hobby, and it's a great way to teach them a new skill. So thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up, and of course, if you want to subscribe to the video, there's a small icon in the lower right hand corner, and that will keep you informed about when the next videos are coming up. And thanks very much. Talk to you later. Bye for now.